Darkness
Yeah,
and
we are.
danger. All of them and none.
Good evening.
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh.
Like it's set to use default, and if you go to what the default is in Windows settings, it says what it is, and then no. So, hello everybody, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play Dungeons and Dragons, following a second, more abbreviated introduction because of audio difficulties during the first one. I'm Christiana Ellis, the Dungeon Master and producer. I'm fired for one, but immediately rehired because there's no one else. And our players tonight, Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry/Vertigo,
As uncertain as ever.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Good evening.
Jenny Meltzer as Zaleen,
Hello.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift.
Hello, friends.
When last we left our heroes, the Pocket Protectors, they traveled to Emirate Arboris, the city at the base of this plains-spanning world tree. The plan is to descend deep into the roots, where you expect to find both the last piece of a machine that you were hoping to assemble to solve the problem of the Titan artifact known as the Pillar. But you also expect to find a problem with a infestation of magical creatures known as siphoners that are causing problems down there. Also in the mix is the fact that a plane destroying Titan hybrid monstrosity from the far realm also has all of the rest of the pieces of this machine you need, and also is going to be trying to get that last one. So that's where we are. I believe as we left things, you were planning to hire a guide to take you down within the root system of the tree.
Yes.
Is there
Well,
anything?
down and through to the island, right?
Yes. So basically, trying to reach the location that. So you received word that the siphoners had found an access into the root system of the tree. But rather than travel outside in the material plane to the location where they got in, you are hoping to basically come through the root system from this end to head them off, or at least get to that location that way instead of, on the outside. Is there anything else that you would have all wanted to do before you, uh, you know, find your guide and begin your trek?
I think that when Carolina is talking about how Cadence used to, like, after she retired, she became this, and she's wondering, like, I wonder if she's still here, and then she's like, oh no, she's probably dead. It's been like 100 years. I wonder if she had any progeny that might work at the tree. So I would be like asking around about that because she's too excited, and she really can't just communicate because she just starts telling stories about the heroes of legend.
You're just volunteering all of this for Carolina, or you think
Yeah.
Zaline is doing that?
No, I'm doing that. Like, because Carolina, like, she can't stop telling stories. Like,
Okay,
she gets
yeah.
too excited.
Well, it just so happens that once you start making inquiries, it turns out that there is, in fact, one of their active tree climbers, the branch wanderers. There is, in fact, Melody of the Winds, who is the granddaughter of Ket of the Sands and Cadence of the Water. And she is an active, climber right now. And once she hears of this mission, she immediately volunteers. And I think that some of her superiors are not sure it should be her, just because she has this connection to the heroes of legend. But I think if all of you make show some interest there.
Yeah, I think that Carolina would probably have a little interest in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be everyone else will have to kind of do what we usually have to do with Nedry. Stop asking about her parents.
I mean, it's more likely that most of the stories are really aggrandized, so maybe she'd be able to explain whether they were like normal people, really. I suppose we have to accept that they really existed, though, having met one.
Yeah, you've met a couple.
Have we met a couple?
Yeah, because Nira and Alaric
Oh,
showed
that's
up
right,
for the
yeah.
whole council thing.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And Amethyst is our BFF.
Well, she's the most
Yep.
impressive of them all so far.
Well, she is the avatar of an ancient, entity. But in any case, I think that Melody reports to this temple chamber where you've all been kind of getting briefed, and she just immediately steps in, and she's like standing at attention. She's got white fur with some like snow leopard type markings as well, somewhat resembling her grandmother. And she just stands straight up and just says, I heard that I have been requested. I want you to know that I am eminently qualified to lead an expedition of this type, and not just because I have a famous relative, but I have my own qualifications, and I hope to prove myself to you beyond just being able to try to be some sort of a nepotism hire.
I'm just kind of like standing behind Lynn and just like push her forward a little bit.
So I imagine there's a little bit of a rambling, like, oh, your parent or your grandparents were, this and that and the other, and I mean, I have about a million questions, but I guess mostly we should probably make sure that you know exactly how dangerous this mission is, because it's really pretty super dangerous.
Um, Anyone who likes can make an insight check.
Oh, I'll take that one.
Hmm.
Natural 20.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
a 30.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't think you needed a 30 in order to realize what I'm telling you now, but I think the initial discussion of like so many questions about your grandparents, I think there's a little bit of like the ears folding back and a little bit of like, oh, oh, you do only want me because of my, my grandparents. But then when you mentioned to like you want understand how dangerous it is, that's where it just steals back into the resolve of yes, I can handle it. That sort of vibe. But I think your insight there is that with a 30, especially, it's not that she is like bluffing or has like that she's faking it or whatever, but like you get a sense of she may be quite capable, but she's also young and possibly doesn't necessarily have a full understanding of what level of danger she is actually capable of withstanding. But she certainly thinks she is up for whatever might come. And
All righty then.
and says, I have been following a lot of the uh, news and rumors that have been swirling around related to this mysterious island and the threats to Emirate Arboris, and I would feel like I'm not contributing everything I could if I didn't volunteer when I knew there was a mission that struck right to the heart of everything I care about.
That's a lofty goal. But I have a question for you. I'll keep it under 5. But this one might be the most important one. What's the most dangerous thing you've ever faced?
Well, I did lead an expedition once to the city of Brass in the elemental plane of fire, where a party of traders had found themselves on the wrong end of a jinn, and the Ifrits wanted to take them as slaves, and I was there to accompany a diplomat to negotiate their safe return, and there was, in fact, some combat that resulted because there was resistance, but I handled myself ably, and we returned all of the merchants safe and sound.
I just kind of like lean in and I'm like, why does that sound like it's our fault?
Oh, so much is our fault.
That's impressive, actually. I've only met a few people who've gone to other planes, but I suspect that's part of your job.
It
Uh,
is, although one
it's
of
her job.
it is literally my job. Yes, that's exactly what I do. But I think also this particular mission, uh, many of the climbers focus on all of the different other places that they can use the tree to travel to, but there is not as many that focus on travel within the tree itself, which has its own labyrinthine network of roots and branches, many of which that go places that are not known destinations, and therefore no one would ever explore those paths because they don't lead to somewhere that anyone is trying to go. But I have been on several expeditions seeking to chart many of those unexplored routes.
Sounds
Very
a little
good.
bit like what we intended to do when we first started this.
With your ongoing insight, I think Lynn also had a very high result there. I think you both kind of watch her think and not say, "Yes, I know, I've been following you." Not like literally, but like paying attention to like all the stuff you're doing.
The circle. Uh, you anticipated my question well. I appreciate that. You can think on your feet. I like that too. Have you ever been trained with magic or with fighting yourself?
Yes, I am trained in the Druidic schools of magic. I don't generally wild shape very much, but I am adept in many spells.
Good. If you had to choose one of the four of us to leave behind, who would you choose?
I think
That's a terrible question.
It's a terrible possibility.
well,
I would just volunteer to save her from having to make that horrible decision. It's not her choice.
no,
But it could be.
I can answer this, but my answer I would put to you is that any circumstance whereupon I would feel any need whatsoever to leave someone behind in order to save the rest would likely be an extremely tactically specific circumstance, in which case I likely would not be able to make that choice of who, but rather only whether it is acceptable or not to leave one behind to save the others. Ideally, we would never find ourselves in that situation, but I think it would be further unlikely that it would be a position where I would have to choose one of more than one.
Is there a sense of how old Melody is? I don't
Yeah,
know
I think
ages between them as well, and he's also young, so
sure. I mean, you can tell me how good you think Nedry is at gauging that sort of thing, but broadly for the group, I would say she seems like early 20s.
yeah.
I ask you because what we do is hard, and we face hard choices. But you answered it, and I appreciate that.
I would certainly say that I would not consider myself as skilled or as powerful as all of you. I would not presume to make any such claim, but I do have specialized skills that are critical for an expedition of this kind.
And critical for returning.
Well, yeah.
No further
It's in-
questions.
I was just gonna be like, "Are you satisfied?"
I reserve the right to ask questions later, but for now, time is pressing.
So, do I have the job?
If you still want it, I think that's the case.
Although he'll look to the others, especially Lynn.
And probably no need for that because she'd be on board immediately.
She pulls. You realize that she had been standing with kind of her arms folded in a specific way, and like that, like she's holding something, but sort of like standing in a like a ready I'm being questioned sort of posture. But then when you say all of that, she removes her hands where they were hidden, pulls out a hat with a big feather on it, and then draws a cape across her front and says, "I am reporting for duty."
Rock on.
Don't salute. That feels weird.
Oh, I, I wasn't saluting. This is just like this pose looks cool with the cape.
It's okay. He doesn't
Very
always
heroic.
understand the dramatic flourishes that are sometimes required in life.
Oh yeah.
Did it look like I practiced the pose in a mirror?
Oh, you got
No, it looked absolutely natural. Like you were born to make that pose.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Make a
You
deception
have
check.
12 out of 10. Hang on.
I'm saying
Deception.
deception just because I think you do guess that she probably did.
11.
12.
So I think she, her, well, with her fur, I don't think she would like blush in an obvious way, but I think her whiskers kind of twitch, and she just says, "Thank you for saying so."
Are we supposed to practice things like that in front of a mirror?
Yes.
You mean
Oh.
you didn't practice?
I
Come on, I practiced this smile for years.
I wasn't even born, and I know that.
I don't really generally use mirrors. I mean, the only
I
mirror
just-
I really wanted to use was one that would trap people inside, so.
See? Friendly Dragonborn.
Well, I know that.
But you gotta have the smile.
Okay.
Yeah, Melody patiently stands by and waits for you to finish your bits.
Oh, look at
Trying
that.
to make her feel better, like we did it too.
Yeah, she realizes we're just a bunch of idiots. It's fine.
She's like, do I really want this job? These guys.
Man, the
I
stories don't
know.
hold up.
So
Never meet your heroes, man.
Not when we're the heroes.
I would never presume to make assumptions about what such an illustrious party might act like in their own company.
No, you'll probably see it for yourself, really.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So when were you hoping to leave? I can be ready as soon as you need.
Time is of the essence.
Did we did take a long rest, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, before
Okay,
we got
I
here,
thought we did.
hmm
I did some thinking and it hurt. So
Oh, that's right. I also did. I cast a spell, but I only. Oh no, I did two. Holy shit. Oh,
I
well.
mean, you could take more time if you wanted, but obviously
I
the
don't think
world
we
clock
need
is
to.
ticking.
Yeah,
take a week.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's a beach episode. We'll take a week.
It'll be fine. We don't need that 5th level spell. Well, and it went to a good cause because now Lynn has her faculties.
So, if you are ready to go, then, all active climbers have basically an expedition kit prepared. I think based on the nature of where we are going, I'm going to pack some slightly different spell components, but I can be ready with those in just a few minutes if you are ready to go right away.
We need to.
the sooner
Yeah.
the better.
All right then, let's depart. Just so you are aware, the route that we will be taking will take the better part of 2 days to reach the depths that we're headed to. This does include, however, a a sort of a side trip, but mostly on the way. I would highly recommend. There is a dragon named Kupralak who lives in the roots, more or less on the way, who I think would potentially be able to give us some intelligence about what's happening down there. And also, I think it would be good to check in on him.
2 days.
Now, was that root ROUTE or root ROOT?
Well, I was saying ROOT. However, it is also an ROUTE. Yes,
Is there going to be
we've
a
heard all
spelling test involved?
no.
Are we doing
Good.
puns?
In this case, either is correct, so there wouldn't be any need for a test. So we're going? Yeah? All right. So I think that as you are, all are making your way. Hang on, sorry, I'm trying to. I am trying to pull some stuff up in D&D Beyond, and it doesn't always do what I want. But you make your way into, deeper into the temple, and there's an area where there's sort of an very organic looking staircase that starts to go down into what looks like the fanciest root cellar you've ever seen. In the sense that it's clear that there's a point where you are leaving these paved, like the actual constructed stone of the temple behind, and entering an area where there's, packed walls with, soil and roots here and there. But these roots have all been kind of like worn smooth in this area. You feel like if you were to trail your hands along the wall, like they would get dusty, but otherwise they look like smooth, and you see roots here and there, and you realize that as Melody kind of leads you on, it is just you're descending deeper and deeper, and I think all of you would have a little bit of a sense of vertigo, as not Mark's character, but the sensation as you recognize that Melody has activated whatever sort of druidic magic allows this sort of travel of the root system, and you get a sense that this tunnel that you're now descending through kind of only exists by virtue of the magic that she is working. And she's not really it's not really obviously performative in terms of the spell, but you do hear her kind of whispering some sort of incantation. I don't think any of you speak Druidic, and so therefore you wouldn't necessarily understand what she is saying. But you do see that there's a glow of a charm that she's wearing around her neck, and getting just the sense that while you don't literally see the tunnel opening itself out of nothing, you do just nonetheless feel like the world is kind of warping around you. You have now entered tree hyperspace, basically.
I'm trying to remember, didn't I have, was that me that I had the diamond stud that let me like understand all the languages when we went to the Feywild before we went to the Moonshadowed Sea?
Well, was it you? I think you should remember these things, right?
Is it in
Because
your inventory?
Jenny had the boot and
You
Paul
had the
had the
eyeball thing, didn't you? It was an
card.
eye thing.
That was a different thing though. It was like we all got items when we went to the Feywild. Like you had the boot that could track whoever.
Yeah, I don't know.
and
I guess you would have to
Paul's was
look
the
in.
you could
I'm
see that somebody had they were
Yeah,
lying
let's
to
see.
you.
That was
Yes, you are right. This earrings glow makes any language yours to know. However, I feel like, have you been wearing it? Are you attuned to it?
I don't even see it in my but well, I think
Technically, we never
because
made
when
it
we
a
got
magic
it,
item in the
yeah,
D&D
when we
Beyond.
got it, we were playing the other system.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Mm-hmm. But Druidic, in any case, is actually a little bit of a difference in that regard. I think you maybe get glimpses of it, but um, it's not really a language that you can just translate, right? It's speaking, the language of life and geology and all of these sorts of things. So it's a little bit like, you can translate, spell incantations, but she's not really speaking like a monologue, so to speak. It's more like, this is the chant of incantating a spell. And I didn't save the thing. Okay. One moment. So, as you begin, you realize that here and there, you're often. Oh, at some point, I think she probably, the tunnel leaves behind any area where there was any light given off, and as things start to get dark, I think she does look back to you and say, does anyone need light?
I can
No.
see in darkness, although complete darkness is still a problem.
Isn't Lynn like? Do you have dark vision?
I do have dark vision. That came with my
Okay.
boon, my dark vision, and then
Oh,
the
that's
true
right.
sight for 30 feet. Yeah.
I don't think it's true sight for 30 feet. It's true sight for 10 feet, I thought. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong, but I.
My sheet says 30, so
All
I don't
right,
know.
well, whatever. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. Um, but so, does anybody need light? Was the question. Okay. She says, that's just as well. Not that I expect that we're going to encounter a lot of other creatures in this part of the root system. However, as we start getting more into the regions around Kuperlach's domain, obviously there's a little bit more openness. We're going to be following the root system until we get there, but there are some hollows within the tree at certain points, and other natural caverns. And in some of those, there are, magical torches that have been left for those who do need light. But if we don't need to have magical light with us at all times, that's just as well. It allows us to travel more stealthily. On that note, I am capable of casting Pass Without Trace, which can, in some ways, disguise our travel as we pass through. But of course, it's not something that I can just maintain for the entire duration of the trip. So I would say if you let me know at any point that you feel that it would be beneficial, or if I see such an occasion, I will bring it up. But just letting you know that is something I can do when the time comes.
Okay. Good to
So you
know.
said this journey will take us 2 days.
Close to 2 days. Yeah.
So we will likely have a long rest.
I was assuming that we would. However, I am capable of going through the night if you would prefer. Obviously, that would get us there sooner, but of course, that would be, sacrificing the rest. So I leave that to your decision.
I just want to make sure because I'd like for us to do a feast before we go, like the rest of the journey tomorrow.
Okay.
Are there typical dangers along the way, or is every route different?
Many of the routes that we travel through now don't have a lot of because we are traveling through to a specific place. We're not going to encounter very much until we get closer to our destination. And she gestures like to this sort of carved out tunnel, and she kind of you know twirls her fingers towards the side and creates a little bit of glow, and you can see that there is sort of a tap root within the ground that you're sort of following along. Um, and she says, much of our journey will be as you see now, and so in those places we're unlikely to encounter much that's not typical. But like I said, once we get closer to Kuperlach's domain, things are more open. There are other creatures there, other travelers come through that area. It's a crossroads of sorts.
I know that you've been training a long time and that you do this all the time. But should the case arise where we get separated, are there general rules or guidelines for us to navigate our way?
Uh, well, I it's I think you can't. It's I'm not saying that it would be impossible for you to learn, but without the magic that I'm using, it's impossible to navigate. It's not that you couldn't follow a route or a branch, but you would lack the ability to uh, choose your destination. You would could end up anywhere. Um, if if you find yourself in that situation, um, I I didn't ask because I just presumed that you have the ability for magical communications or perhaps other magical travel. And I think that in the circumstance that we were separated, that would be your best bet rather than to try to navigate back through the root system.
Suspected as much. Otherwise, travel is limited, but we can manage.
Well, it's there are people who have tried without the training, but as I mentioned, they're often lost because there are so many different paths that one might take without an ability to sense which is the correct one. You could be lost forever.
As I suspected, we'll keep you safe and close.
I appreciate it. So, is there anything like this is gonna like this current state is basically gonna go on for a while? You're not like literally just going in a straight line quite. You're occasionally winding around, but you're almost always going down, like downhill, so to speak. And you will often see that sometimes the roots remain kind of hidden within the walls of this apparent tunnel that you're in. Occasionally, they sort of veer to where like the whole wall of one side of the tunnel will sort of become part of this exposed root for a while, and then it will sort of withdraw back into the wall again, and you're weaving back and forth. And so there's going to be, several hours of this. Is that something that I'm assuming right now that you don't have Buster out, but is there anything else that you would be talking about, or is everyone kind of just how do you spend that time?
I think Indigo will be trying to keep track of the different twists and turns, whether you're successful or not, and how many turns there are.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not a great map, but that's an
Mm-hmm.
extra little insurance policy.
Sure. I think that it's difficult, particularly because it's not like, okay, well, two lefts and then a right. It's
Mhm.
it's like just constant organic weaving around and twining in and out. But you can make a survival check if you like.
I mean, he can try.
Sure.
16.
Yeah, I think that you recognize after a while that, maybe after, from the first couple of hours, maybe you could have kind of more or less taken, you know, guessed it, but the issue is that it's a long way and then there's just constant like turning around, and the problem is that you're going down and down and down, and you do pass many sort of like junction points where different paths are crossing, and Melody always just seems to know exactly which way is the way to go.
So, to set the scene a little bit more, is it
Mhm.
like we're kind of wandering through hollow roots? So everything around this is kind of that organic, round, probably some shade of brown or
Mhm.
gray, like
So
bark type texture on the inside.
right now you are not like literally inside a root so much as like if you were climbing the outside of a tree, you would be climbing the outside of a branch, right? You're not inside the branch, you're not inside the root. So what this is a small earthen tunnel that's basically just about as big as necessary for all of you to walk comfortably through it. You could squeeze past each other, but otherwise it's designed for like single file. There's no light source in here because nobody needed it. But periodically, it's obvious that this tunnel is proceeding alongside a route. Like sometimes it's still kind of buried within the wall, but other times the wall exposes the route a bit more.
Okay.
But I think part of your sense of the magic here is that this tunnel is not necessarily there unless there's someone activating it. And it's also not necessarily clear as much if it is her doing it or it's more like she has asked the tree to do it and the tree is doing it. But you do get the sense that like this tunnel isn't just always here.
Okay. I think there will be some experimentation by trying to write some symbols on some of the junctions, just kind of another way to try to take notes.
Mm-hmm.
No idea if they're going to stay there or not, but that's he'll know 5 days from now when we're coming back through, theoretically, if it's the same route, which it probably isn't.
You're just like making little. I'm just remembering Jennifer Connelly making the little lipstick arrows in Labyrinth, and then we see the little brownies turning the tile around. Anyway, you certainly, as I mentioned, do pass several junctions, but you're kind of always going down. There's very much a sense of descending deeper and deeper and deeper underground.
Is she conversational, like as she's doing this, or is she concentrating?
She is more or less concentrating, but she does like answer your questions. She doesn't have to like literally be focused 100% of the time. Like, so if you were wanting to have a conversation with her, you could. But it's
I would just totally be proselytizing like what we're
well, no, so basically I would say it's a bit like if you're riding in a car with someone who's driving, right? Like
Do I
they're
have the
paying
silence
attention, they're
spell?
focused, but it doesn't mean they couldn't like have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the Mistress of the Dark and the merits of death and how necessary it is. Yeah, just
I could ask the goddess to let me cast silence.
Well, you can make a persuasion check if you like, Saline.
No.
yeah, it's not gonna work.
No?
It's like a 7.
Okay. I think that there is a lot of, I'm not really that religious.
No, but we all have to die. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, well, I figure
I mean, it
I'll
could be
think about that
tomorrow.
later. How about that? Kind of thinking about some other things right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool that you've got something like you're into though. Like I think that's great.
Yeah, death is my whole life. Yeah.
Well, and obviously you get a lot of like power and wisdom and all that. So like good for you. But yeah, I kind of got my own thing here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just like to talk about it.
We
Well,
never
sure.
did really determine exactly what you are, have we?
What?
Who, me? I'm a tabaxi.
No.
Oh.
Well, Azalien has a rather odd origin, which has a lot of questions about it. Never seems to be time to ask him, though.
Well, I mean, you can ask now. I don't know if I'll have the answers.
You're
That's
not
the other problem.
you're not a deep elf?
I don't know. Mostly not.
A manifestation of one,
Okay.
perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, there was an elf that looked like this, but I am not her.
Huh.
It's entirely possible within the cosmology and the belief system that she's actually a manifestation directly of her god, some sort of avatar, but it's hard to tell, really, I think.
that would be so weird because that would mean I'm always talking to myself,
Hmm,
I
which
talk to myself a
tracks.
lot. I don't think
yeah,
that's a big deal.
it's not really.
No, I mean, like I pray to myself. I have conversations with myself. I seek answers from myself if that were the case.
I
That
mean,
would be super
I
weird.
think it's the people who don't talk to themselves that are the crazy ones, and I agree.
I agree.
I
I
mean,
mean,
where else are you going to go for intelligent conversation?
That's true. Well, no, I mean, like I talk to you, but you know,
other perspectives are occasionally useful. Slower, but useful.
yeah. I mean, all I know is that she said she made me. That's all I know. What she made me from, what that means. I just go with it because
I think
she's my mistress.
ultimately the gods do claim creation for everything, so technically not wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, but that's different.
Hmm. You assume it's more personal.
Yeah, because I don't feel like the Mistress of the Dark was involved in that whole creation of the everything thing. Some of my reading suggests that,
Hmm.
like when we were on the book ship,
Oh yeah, it was a nice day.
the only library we ever
Most of it.
really got to explore.
So, how weird is it to hear songs about your grandparents and like stories about that?
Oh,
Like, that's got to be so weird.
here we go.
Well, I think I have some complicated feelings about it because obviously, you know, they were a big deal, right? Like, there's just no denying that. Everybody knows who they are. Uh, I think that sometimes I feel like that sort of casts a big shadow, though. It's could be a little hard for me to sort of feel like I'm my own person and not just their granddaughter. I don't, it's like none of that's their fault, right? That's not, I'm not saying they should have done anything differently or anything, but it does just sometimes feel a little bit like, you know, uh, like when, for example, I get a job, sometimes I get to feel like it's not because of my own skills, but just because of who my family was, or even if that's
Well,
not true, people will think it's true.
so if it helps, I would think that because you come from a line of such skilled adventurers, that it just stands to logical reason that some of those skills would have been taught to you, or just innate talent, that happens too. So like it's not.
Not in all cases.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not entirely out of the question that you would have an advantage just in where you come from, that you would know stuff that
Grandpa
maybe other
Cat
people
used to
wouldn't know.
say it was in my blood.
It's a lot to live up to, though.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
important.
sorry,
I
go
just
ahead.
want to say it's important for you to find your own path. Do not feel obligated to your parents or grandparents.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, because on one side, I do definitely want to be my own person. I don't want to only just be forever trying to fill those big shoes. But on the other hand, they were heroes. They were the heroes of legend, right? And like they helped save the whole world, the whole universe, I guess. And on the one hand, that's a tall order. I'm not necessarily saying I want the whole universe to be under threat so that I can help save it. That seems kind of scary. But on the other hand, what they did is they stepped up and they sought to help and try to solve the problems that they saw in the world around them at that time. And that's the kind of life I want to live too. I want to be someone who is is ready to step up and help with whatever might need helping with.
Well, you're in a very good place to do exactly that. Pending we all survive. Because
I,
that's who knows.
I fear we haven't been clear about the mission that we're traveling on, or the importance of it.
I think we have.
I mean,
Well, I'll confess, here here's what's a little bit strange about it. Like I'm not like, this is not doubt about what we're doing or anything, but when you hear the stories of like the heroes of legend and other, like, these amazing adventurers, the way it always gets told makes it sound like it was all, not easy, but like straightforward, right? Like it was always clear what the right thing to do was, and it was just a matter of having, the will and the strength and the fortitude to see it done. Um, but it feels like anymore, sometimes there's just all these complicated bits, and it's not always obvious what's the right thing to do. And obviously, I understand this mission is really important, but it feels important in kind of a complicated way. Not like I doubt that it's the right thing, but I just mean there's so much going on.
I fear that too often it's the tales of bards and not the books of historians which are read. No offense, Lynn. The stories are great. The songs are inspiring, but they are somewhat vague about some of the details, and things do seem to work out a little bit more easily than my experience would suggest.
Well, and
Like, were your
sometimes
grandparents
there are
really
little
turned to
things
stone?
buried in there that you wouldn't find in a book. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's the story. That's what they told me. They how they lived in Emirate Arboris before it got sort of like whisked away, and but then they were turned to stone in the elemental plane of Earth, and then the other heroes of legend, you know, turned them back, and then that's they joined up and all of that. I mean, that's you know, I they had obviously a lot of little details that weren't in, you know, or don't get into all the big stories. So I know that it's true that, like, the Bard versions are not always the full truth. I mean, Grandma Cadence was certain to tell me that frequently after Grandpa Ket told some stories. Just as like a perspective, right? Like I understand, like you, not that the stories aren't true, but they're they're true in a specific way that doesn't always include all of the truth.
I find it helps if you write everything down.
Yeah, but if you write everything down, then it's just like, this is what happened. But like, I think with adventuring stories, like the ones that Lynn tells and that we hear when we're in taverns, there's so much more to them than just writing everything down. Even if not every aspect of them is perfectly true, that's what makes them great, right?
It's hard to disagree with that, I suppose. Although I am tempted to try.
I think that uh, what Grandpa Ket always used to say whenever uh, Grandma Cadence would say, oh, hear him singing and say, that's not how it happened. And he would say, it's aspirational.
So they embellish the stories so that future heroes and legends can reach farther and higher, maybe.
Something like that. I admit
Is
I
that
was
how it
not
works,
always
Lynn?
following.
No. Okay.
uh, so I think, obviously, she's very willing to engage in these conversations as you're traveling. You're just making your way. I think at a certain point, she lets you all sort of take a little break there's this area where the tunnel you're in kind of emerges, and there's this sort of vast underground cavern, and you can hear like a waterfall in the distance, but it's such a big expanse and total darkness in there that even the dark vision that all of you have is not sufficient to see completely penetrate the full scale of this cave. But it's just, there's a bit more fresh air there, and you hear the sound of water in the distance, and there's sort of a nice little open area there that she just suggests as a nice place to sort of sit and have a snack, or take a breather if anyone needs it.
I'm totally gonna sit down and eat a snack.
Uh, so as the journey continues, you do at a certain point find that the tunnel that you're in is a little bit like broader, and here and there you see places where there's been like stones placed on the floor of them, almost like flagstones in certain spots. And it starts feeling a bit more like maybe these tunnels actually are always there and not just being literally sort of magically tunneled through. But you hear and there, and like at a certain point you reach a big sort of crossroads junction where there's a permanent like magical flame torch there with some signs that are in have different sort of symbols on them. And she says, and this is the way that we're going to go to Cryptolux domain. So I think moving from here, we're going to stop being just in the root tunnels here, and we're going to enter some of the more open caverns. There's a lot of intricate areas here. We're going to actually be descending through the center of a hollow in the trunk here for a moment, and there's actual stairs, and there's a lot of stairs, and there's quite a drop if you were to fall off the stairs. So just obviously watch your step. And as we get to there, I'm going to pull up a map. You do not have Buster out, is my assumption?
Probably took
I
him
don't
out
know,
at the
it's
rest
not up
stop,
to me.
maybe.
No.
Or
Not yet. No.
Okay. So I, if you are all in roll 20, then I will put you on the appropriate map here. You are all the way at the top at the moment, and let me get us on the map here for the stream.
That's a lot of stairs.
Yeah. And so, oops, I'm zooming way out so that everyone can see that there's a whole map here. And so it should be clear that you've already been going down some stairs for a while. But as you are here, it's clear that in this hollow, you can see that there's been intricate carving on a lot of parts of it. You can see that these stairs, in a lot of places, are sort of a little bit, nicer and sort of more polished construction, so to speak. And in a few places, it looks like they've been, repaired. And in some places, it's a little bit of a rougher construction. And there's a couple of magical torches and platforms here, but it's all a little bit haphazard. So meaning uneven is what I mean, not haphazard. Just that it's not. It has the feeling of some of it has been here a long time, some of it has been changed, some of it has been repaired, and so on. But as you are descending here, at a certain point, Melody kind of stops on one of these little half landings here, and she just says, this might be nothing, but the energy in here feels a little bit still. Have you all been to the Shady AG in
Yes.
back in the city? If you've ever been in a jungle where there's lots of like bird sounds and animal sounds, but then like they all go quiet and it just feels too quiet, this feels a little bit like that, like the natural flow of energy that is constantly moving through this place is stilled somehow.
I
It's
cast. Oh, sorry.
I don't know how else to explain it. It it's I don't think you can. It's just part of the natural energies here feel like they've been dammed up somehow. Sorry, what were you going to cast?
I cast Aid at 5th level.
Okay.
Um, uh, Lynn, Indigo, and um, what's our druid's
Melody.
name?
Melody.
Melody. Get 20 extra hit points.
Oh.
Is that temp HP or max changing?
Changes your max.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
They're not temp hit points.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, for Pete's sake, all of these.
And that's good for 8 hours.
And then
Right.
I am going to cast Aid at 4th level on
Gosh.
myself and Zinhorn. So we both get 15.
Wait. Aid is kind of automatically more. It's like 3, isn't it?
When you cast,
Yeah, it's 3.
yeah, but he cast it on.
Oh, I
On-
see. I see. So on
So
Yeah.
I'm
on.
casting it on him
Unless you
and
reach into
me
the bag and
and
I
get
Buster.
Buster
I
too.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah, I will get Buster too. So
Okay.
Okay. Are
the
you
3
you're
of us
bringing
get.
Buster out then?
Yeah, just bring
Yeah.
him out.
Okay. Boom.
So we get 15.
Buster is like pops out and is immediately looking happy to be out, and then it also like very shortly thereafter does not like being on all these stairs. Like he's he's not scared per se, but he's definitely looking at you like, when are we going to be off these stairs? So what is Buster's normal hit points?
I'm pulling that up right now. Normally, Buster has 189 hit
Okay, and
points.
so now it would be was what, plus 15, plus 20,
Yeah,
plus 15.
plus
So
15.
so 94, 204, right?
Yep.
And Vertigo will cast protection from good and evil on Melody,
Oh,
and then tap the book, and also grant her, wow, lowest possible roll, 2 temporary hit points.
well,
But his blue shield does form around him then.
Okay. So at this point, you're kind of like looking around, and I think each of you, whether maybe you're picking it up just from Melody's energy or whether you're starting to kind of sense it on your own, I think now that she's pointed it out, there is just a little bit of a, like, there's just a sense of being watched, right? And then you look down and down and down and down to the bottom of this sort of cavern here, and you see that oh, hang on, I'm also doing a thing here. Let's see. Where is this? I'm trying to remember where I have the settings for this because it never remembers. Where's? Okay, I'm sorry. I am not remembering where the GM opacity layer is. Anyway, it's fine. So you look down at the bottom of all of this. Is it not? Why did it not do that? There we go. And suddenly, what looks like fog or mist starts filling the bottom of this entire hollow here. Hang on, I'm trying to do a thing here, and it's giving me complexity. I am. Did it where did it change where the setting that says there it is? That's what I wanted. The GM layer opacity. They moved it. So back to where I was. So you see that the bottom of this cavern has started to fill with some kind of fog, and it looks like the level of it is rising steadily. And at this point, I would like everyone to roll initiative, please.
Indeed.
All right.
Is Buster on the tracker?
Hang on. Give me a second.
Okay.
He wasn't on the tracker because he wasn't on the map when I initially put everyone else on the tracker. Now he is.
Okay. He got an 18.
Okay. And then where did I did this to myself. I just made the GM layer so transparent that I couldn't find the tokens anymore to do stuff with. All right.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. And then 3. So looks like I still need Zinhorn. Your actual initiative is not on there?
Oh, I'm sorry. 17. It was there.
Okay. Well,
And
I
then-
mean, yeah.
And then it undid it. It does not like me.
Right. Okay. So between Carolina and Zinhorn, you should decide which of you is going first.
Carolina.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
go first.
All right. And then Melody rolled pretty low, so she's only out of 4. All right. So right now, as I mentioned, we got just so many 17s. Okay. Okay, so you sense something is happening. There's fog filling up the bottom of this cavern. We're in initiative. Things are happening. Nedry, you are first. What would you like to do?
So this is our positioning at the top of the map, right? That's
I mean, if you feel like you would have been in a different order or something, tell me.
Nope.
Otherwise, then yes.
okay. No, you just mentioned we paused partway through it. I wasn't sure if it was okay.
I mean, I kind of just put you on the map arbitrarily, but feel free to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. Does Melody seem to have any sign of recognition, or she just seems as puzzled as the rest of us?
She seems puzzled.
Okay. And it's quite a distance away.
Should be noted too that like this is like it's a relatively steep descent. I would say from where you are right now, it's maybe 200 feet to the bottom.
Okay. So, and these are normal size steps?
Yeah.
Nedry's not having any difficulty navigating them? Okay. And I think he's probably just going to move a little bit further ahead so he's not clumped up.
I think moving down the stairs is normal speed. You'd be half speed going up the stairs.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably less than half.
Well, not just
Um,
you, but everybody.
Yep, and he's going to hold a firebolt if something threatening seems to come close,
Okay.
and that's it.
All right. It is Buster's turn next. I would imagine he's probably just, kind of coming up to you, Zinhorn, and sensing that you are on edge.
Yep. And I mean, they are friendlies, so he could theoretically pass by them, but he's just gonna hang out
This
in the
is
back.
a stairwell that's narrow enough and no railing. I think that would require checks for him to pass by.
Okay, so I'm gonna squish the face and make sure he stops and stays with me.
Okay. All right. So, Zinhorn.
No, Lynn.
Okay, fine, whatever. Yes. So, Lynn.
Yeah, I'm going to hold. What am I going to hold? I'm going to hold Vicious Mockery.
Okay.
If something threatening happens.
Okay. All right. Now, Zinhorn.
I am going to hold Guiding Bolt.
Okay. What level?
I should know that, shouldn't I?
Well, I mean, I think the
I'd-
ordinary one is first level, but you could choose.
First level.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
start with first level.
All right. Okay. Zeline?
Looking around, seeing everybody holding their stuff, I'm gonna hold an Eldritch Blast.
All right.
Is anyone going to move forward? I strongly suggest it.
I mean,
So we're
you
not
guys,
grouped up.
You totally could have moved forward.
I mean, I did.
I need to keep Buster in check, so
Okay.
y'all need to move forward.
Nobody
I'm-
said anything, so this is like.
I didn't move.
Well,
Okay, so it's
we're
Zaline's turn
also
now.
following our guide, so
Yep.
Alright. So the plan is to have your guide lead the way even when you think there's danger? That's fine.
Well, I mean, you said that the stairs were narrow, right? I don't want to like push.
Okay,
past
well,
everybody.
okay. It's one thing for you're standing two abreast on the stairs, and what I was saying is that for Buster to move past where the four of you are standing in a clump would require a roll. It doesn't mean that everybody would need a roll to move through. Buster is big. If you guys want to move, you can move. It's my point.
Please move so that,
I will move so that Zinhorn stops crying back there.
thank you. Thank you.
I will move in front of Nedry because he's small
Mhm.
and I don't want him to get harmed. And that's the end of my turn.
All right. Well, so kind of following your lead in the sense of what you're all doing, Melody is going to cast and hold. So she activates produce flame and is holding the throwing of it, and she is going to move a little further forward, heading to try to get to the landing. So 20, like moving in that direction to get to the bigger landing there. And then we're back at the top of the initiative, and the fog is going to continue to rise. So, Nedry, we're once again at your turn.
These stairs, are they just sort of suspended off the walls? Is that what we're seeing? Like,
They've got the pillars, yeah. So
Okay.
they're sunk. They've got the support beams sunk into the wall.
okay, and the walls are wood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. gets to about there. And it's still quite some distance away. Oh, I think it's going to be the cautious route again to hold another firebolt.
Okay. All right. Buster is staying with you. You haven't moved. He's not doing
Yep.
anything, I guess.
He's gonna hold an action to follow me.
Okay. You can't hold movement.
Oh. All right.
You can
well,
say on your turn to give him the command to follow you.
Okay.
Lynn.
Yep, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to hold vicious mockery and move forward. There-ish.
All right. Zinhorn.
I cast Death Ward on Buster.
Okay.
And I move forward.
Make sure you cancel the first level spell slot that you didn't use for your guiding bolt.
Yep.
All right. Okay, Zaleen.
I will move forward and continue to hold my Eldritch Blast.
Okay. All right. And Melanie is oops, on the wrong layer. She is going to again kind of she kind of goes to the center here and she's looking around and she's just going to confirm to all of you is like that fog's not normal. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing. So what's the plan here? And so she's holding Produce Flame again. And once again, at the top of the initiative.
So how obscuring is this fog then?
When you are within this uppermost part of it, it is lightly obscured. Below that, it is heavily obscured. So I would say like the top 20 feet or so is lightly obscured, and below that you can't see into it at all.
Okay. And there's no sense of shapes moving within the fog at all?
No.
Okay. There's no light in here? Oh, there is light. These
Yeah.
torches.
Right. So I would say, loosely speaking, you can see what you can see on the map.
Okay.
But mechanically speaking, you would be at disadvantage trying to attack anything in the fog.
Does anybody have any rope? Might lose our way if we're not careful.
I think I do.
I do have the forever rope that I took
Oh yeah.
from
Nope.
our friend.
Nope, on the rope. Does anyone have anything that can deal with fog?
I have an idea when it gets to my turn.
Okay. Well,
But I'm
so
gonna try.
it is Nedry's turn. I will say that as the fog is rising, you're not really within it yet, but you are able to kind of smell what's happening, and it smells like off. It doesn't smell like it's just mist.
This might be some of the corruption from the blob. There may be poison involved, or acid, or something dangerous. If you have any defenses along those way, I would suggest. Until then, I
think Nedry is going to chance it a little bit and step down the stairs a little.
Okay.
This time, I'm going to hold something different.
All right.
I'm going to hold Gust. So if it comes within 30 feet, he's going to try experimentally to try to blow some of it away. It's not very effective, but it's a test.
Okay. All right. So the trigger is if the fog approaches within that.
Yeah, if the fog gets within 30 feet, he can try it at that point.
Okay. All right. Buster's turn. I assume he's following Zinhorn.
Yep.
Yep. Let's see. You know, all of your player senses are probably tingling in an appropriate way, but you don't see anything.
We're seeing less and less, in fact.
Do we hear anything? Do we smell anything?
We did smell something.
I mean,
It smells off.
you could use your action to try to make like a perception check or something like that. But without something like that, no, you don't.
Okay. Well, it's Lynn's turn, so.
Yeah. So, Lynn.
Well, I'm going to first get up here next to Zaleen, just to kind of like keep hold of somebody. Let's see, how far out is that? Ba-da-da. Nope, I can't see that yet. I guess when it gets closer, I'll be squinting at it with my true sight and seeing what I can see, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything right now, so I'm just gonna hold Vicious Mockery again.
Okay. Zinhorn.
I. What am I gonna do? What was I gonna do? I'm gonna hold Sacred Flame and move forward. I just told them not to bunch up. Okay. There's me following my own freaking advice.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Celine.
So I'm gonna hand Lynn like the other end of this rope, and I'm gonna take my movement.
Okay.
I'm gonna move up here. I would say I could probably get to like right here, and I'm going to cast 60 feet ahead Fairy Fire.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Love that.
So that is a 20-foot cube outlined in blue, green, or violet. I will say violet.
Okay.
And any creature in the area when it is cast is also outlined in light if it fails a dex saving throw. So the dex saving throw would be 19.
So I'm making a little 20-foot square here. Tell me where you wanted it. So it's like 10,
Like
20,
near the platform, if possible.
30,
Down there?
40.
Yeah, right where Mark just.
Okay, so like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so suddenly you see all of the outlines of like where the platform is and the stairs and sort of like drifting elsewhere. You see sort of glowing, creating a sort of a big purple sort of smear within the fog.
Okay.
Yeah, but it does not reveal any creatures.
Okay.
I just suddenly had a vision of this being like, you sank my battleship. Great. Okay. Melody's turn. I think that she is going to actually try herself. What is this? She is going to try to make a perception check of, try to sense what's going on here. She got a 21, which, let me occurs to me that there's actual stats that should apply here. Um, um, she just barely, in a meet it to beat it sense, just barely spots um, uh, she yells out to you and says, "Zaylene, just ahead of you. I think there's something moving in the mist."
Okay.
Yeah. So we are definitely at the top of the initiative again. It looks like the mist is not rising much further than what it is. It's kind of swirling around. It's sort of maintaining at about this level. It does seem like it's not continuing to fill upwards. But Zaylene, you are there just sort of at the outer wisps of it, and as Nedry noticed before, it smells bad, like it wouldn't be great to just be breathing that. Not that it would be instantly suffocating, but it's like, you don't want to breathe smoke either, right?
Yeah, it's yucky.
Yeah. Right. So, Vertigo, it's your turn.
So Melody yelled out there's something, but
Yeah.
is ahead of where Zaylene is. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a wild shot in that direction, and with a firebolt, just kind of. Oh yeah, I can do the thing here. Yeah, I guess it would be just like straight in that direction.
Okay. Make an attack roll with disadvantage.
That is a 12.
Is it a 12 or is it an 11?
Oh, sorry, it's 11. I was looking at
Okay.
the wrong one.
Your firebolt just kind of sails on through the mist. It leaves kind of a little bit of it burns away the mist just right behind it, carving out a little tunnel for itself briefly, but then it sort of just, fills back in. But it seems to just miss entirely.
Okay. I think then. I think he's going to stay where he's at.
Okay. Alrighty. So that makes it Buster's turn. Presumably he is also following to keep up with Zintorn, I would imagine, yeah?
Yep.
All right. So, suddenly, emerging from the mist, invisible until they attack, are wraith-like creatures similar to ones that you have seen before. And they fly up at great speed, two of them to Nidri and two of them to Zaylene here. And so until they attack, they are still invisible. So anyone who still had held actions can do that after one of them has attacked, if that's what you want to do. So hang on. Why do I keep putting my dice away when I need them still? All right. So the first one that is attacking Nedry gets an 18 to hit.
Shield.
Okay. Well done. It is so this northmost one is now revealed. I think Zinhorn, did you still have a held spell or no? Sacred
Yes,
Flame, I think.
Yes. Yes, Sacred Flame.
Okay. It got a 14, which I don't think is enough.
It is not.
Flame. All right.
I had Vicious Mockery held too.
Okay. Would you also use it on that same one? 33 total damage. You guys are level 18 or something.
Yeah, probably the just who's closest.
Okay. So, well, only one of them has been revealed because they're not.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then,
So,
yeah. There's only the one I can see, then that's the one I'm
well, I'm
going
just
after.
so what I'm saying is with a held action, right?
Hmm.
Presumably, it would be triggered by the first one you see, right? So, in
Right.
theory, they're kind of all going at the same time, but I'm kind of just. Why is that one?
It's a wisdom
Oh,
saving
okay,
throw.
it's in the wrong place. Um, wisdom
Don't ask
saving
about
throw.
him.
Yeah, sorry, that was he got revealed at the wrong time. Wisdom saving throw is going to be 12.
No, so it will take uh 12 damage, and that's psychic damage.
Yeah.
And the next attack
Oh,
roll it makes before the end of its next turn is with disadvantage.
I was about to subtract that damage, but then I remembered these guys don't seem to be suffer any psychic damage. So I'd say he's unaffected.
So he doesn't even get the disadvantage?
I don't think so because he doesn't take the damage, right? He's immune to it. So the other attacks. There's 3 more attacks. One more against Nedry. That is going to be a 27 to hit, which
Oh yeah, that
might
hits.
even with the shield, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a high roll. You are going to take uh-huh, 16 psychic damage,
Ooh.
and you must make a wisdom saving throw.
Is it magic?
Not as such.
Okay. 14.
14 is just enough, so you are not dazed.
That's good. Just
Yeah.
confused.
But yeah, it's hang on, I just remembered I am using a default creature and then yes, there we go. I've modified them. I have to remember to use the modification and not just the normal stat block. So in addition to the damage, you also lose 6 levels worth of spell slots.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like the first 6 levels worth or what?
It can be whichever ones you want, as long as the levels worth add up.
Okay. Well.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That will only happen if you fail the wisdom saving throw. So
Well.
you are okay, but you remember that that's what these guys did last time. You also remember that once they managed to do that, they got stronger.
Trying to remember where we did face them again. It's sounding familiar, but I'm not.
Remember when you were escaping from the construct maker's headquarters, but before you found the rebel base, you created your own little, magic sort of perimeter around the tower. But then this is how you met the rebels, is because they were being chased by the siphoners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so these are siphoners then. Okay.
They are.
All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
an entirely different matter then.
So yes, I'm sorry I got distracted. So they do also that spell slot thing, but only if you fail the wisdom save. So
We'll not do
now
that then.
the 2 that are attacking Zaleen, one gets a 16 to hit. That's a nod. Okay.
Yep, that hits.
All right. So that's going to be 16 psychic damage for you and a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh, what am I doing? I didn't take that damage.
Hmm.
I have a shield up.
Well,
20.
you were
Dirty
hit by
20.
one of them.
Yeah, but the shield takes the
Okay.
damage first before I
Okay.
do.
Okay, yes. So you save that wisdom save. The second attack is going to be a 25 to hit. So that's going to be only 7 psychic damage that time, but another wisdom saving throw. All right.
20
So
hits.
yeah, I think
Hmm.
you are able to resist them attempting to draw the magical energy out of you, but they're still just traumatizing and damaging. You feel them trying to suck your willpower away as well. So that is those four guys. Lynn.
Yeah, I don't like these guys. I'm gonna use we'll do freezing spears.
Okay.
And we'll do it at let's see, let me just make sure. I'll do it at 3rd level so I get an extra one. Wait, how many are there? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So that's 4 spears, and I have to roll them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which,
at
which
20.
which ones are you attacking?
I'm since I have 4 spears, I'm gonna send 1 spear at each one of these guys.
Okay. So a 20 does hit.
Do you want me to roll all of the
Yeah,
hits first?
just
and
go
then-
ahead and
okay.
roll all four, and then the damage for each.
All right, then 19,
Hit. Yeah.
16,
Also hit.
and 20 not
Yep.
natural.
Those all hit.
Okay. So we do this 4 times. Oh, jeez.
Alright.
1 damage.
All right.
2 damage.
Uh-huh.
Keep going. Higher. 3.
3 damage.
Wow. Yeah.
Ah, broke the streak. Another 3. Oh my god, that was
All
terrible.
right. Well, just think though, if they were.
Oh, but they have their speed reduced by 5 feet.
Okay.
Or their speed was reduced.
If only they weren't resistant to cold damage.
I'm so useless against these things, you guys. I can do nothing.
Actually, yeah, I'll just leave it. Yeah, so you get the sense that these things are sort of partially like not translucent, insubstantial, so they're somewhat ghost-like in that way, and some of their resistances include a bunch of stuff actually, but you don't know that. Okay, Zinhorn.
Well, I was going to do Aura of Life, but I don't have a reliquary worth 1,000 gold pieces. So I'm going to do Guiding Bolt at 2nd level
Okay.
on the one north of Nedry.
That is the one that has taken the most damage so far.
Alrighty. 15
Okay,
to
a
hit.
15 does hit. And it does do 17 radiant damage, which it absolutely takes all of that. It
And
is not entirely destroyed, but it is extremely weakened. It is barely holding itself together. All of these things, to be clear, like they're rushing up on you wraith-like, but they have sort of an aura of desperation about them. They are desperately trying to take this energy from you because they seem starving for it. So yes, you have nearly destroyed that one, but not quite yet.
Alrighty.
Okay, Zaleen.
I am going to reach out and touch the face of this thing in front of me and cast Vampiric Touch.
Okay. So that would be an attack.
That is
roll, I think.
I think it's 29.
Okay.
And-
29. Yeah, that's gonna hit.
And 17 necrotic damage.
Okay. They are resistant, but not immune to necrotic damage, so they're gonna take 8.
That's awesome because I get 8 hit points back.
Well, it only takes 8, so I think you get 4.
Maybe you're right. Let me double check real quick.
I think you could argue
I'm pretty sure
it.
you're right.
Yeah, I think you could argue it either way. I'm going to say that for these things in particular, that is absolutely how it works, though. In fact, actually, you know what? Let's say let's make it a roll because these things actually kind of do that actually anyway. As you are trying to draw energy out of it in this way, make a Constitution saving throw.
19.
Okay. You sense that it is trying to use its own ability to pull energy away to try to prevent you from taking back as much as you would. So I'll let you take the full 8 in this case. But
Okay.
yeah, you get a sense that that spell is maybe a distant cousin of what these things are doing.
I think that you actually were right the first time because it says the amount of necrotic damage dealt.
Yeah.
And since they only took 8, I think it would only be 4.
Yeah, so I think that is correct.
Yeah.
And so it still does the thing, but you do manage to get all that you were going to get, which is the full 4 in that case.
Okay.
And you can have an inspiration for being a good rule follower. Okay. So, when it is, anything else for your turn?
Nope.
All right. So that makes it Melody's turn. What is she gonna do? She can do something a little more interesting now that she's got. I think that she is going to cast Conjure Elemental. And she's going to conjure an air elemental. I think I have an air elemental token. There we go. I think I put it on the GM layer. I did. And so air elemental is large creature. And oh, there's a new 2024 version I haven't looked at to see what's different. Okay. It's got 90 and 15. Okay. And I believe with Conjure Elemental, it is going to roll its own initiative, which it gets a 10. Which means that it's not going to go again for a little bit, but she has summoned this air elemental and she directs it to protect us from these abominations. All right, Nedry.
I think he starts to conjure an arcane spark in one hand and kind of waves a little bit to see how they follow the energy, and then proceeds to clap his hands together, let go of the spark, and cast Thunderclap, which will affect the two of them. The echo probably in this chamber is loud and sonorous and quite distracting, but it's a con save DC 17 for them.
Okay.
For the two that are directly next to him.
Sure. So the 13 for one and a 10 for the other. think that's probably 2 failures.
That is 2 failures, so they take damage.
Is this just a 5-foot range?
It is a 5-foot range.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's not right. Oh wow, that is right. That is 4d6 for a total of 6.
Okay, well, it
You know
happens.
what? I'm going to re-roll those. I'm going to spend a sorcery point to empower the spell to re-roll
Aha.
3 of those dice.
Great.
So I will keep one of the 2s, and then roll 3d6 because I can do better than that. So that's a total of 18 damage now.
Well, that's certainly better than 6 for sure.
Yeah.
Now it just so happens that they are also resistant to thunder damage, but the one that
Well-
was already significantly hurt is that's still enough to destroy that one.
Okay.
Let me make sure that's not the one that's on the tracker. Nope, good. And then the other one is going to take 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They are not knocked back or anything, right?
No,
All right.
it doesn't knock them back.
Although nothing immediately breaks or anything, there is sort of a creak and groan and an ominous rumble from the stairs.
Yeah. That's each creature. Am I considered a small or I'm still a medium
You are
creature?
small. You're
I am small.
Yeah.
Okay. But Zaleen is a medium creature.
Yes.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Mhm.
I probably won't do that. Instead, well, that's only one creature. Where's my multiple creatures one? Each creature in a 5-foot radius. Sure, I'm going to quicken Snowball Swarm
Okay.
to cast it as a bonus action. I'm going to place it.
Is that another? Was Thunderclap a cantrip?
That's a cantrip.
Okay.
I'm going to place it. Do I feel like Zaleen has more energy than they do, or actually these really haven't been? No, I'll put it there. So each creature within 5-foot radius of the sphere has to make a dexterity saving throw.
How big is the sphere?
It is a 5-foot radius, so it should
Okay.
capture this guy and this guy, but not Zaleen.
Okay, so 5-foot radius. Let me put that.
So there should capture both of them.
Okay. And do they make a save right now or on their turn?
They make a save right now.
Okay, that's con save. You said.
It is a dexterity 17 save.
Okay. Well, one of them definitely fails. That's a 5. The other one gets a dirty 20.
Okay, so the one that got a dirty 20 takes half damage,
Okay.
and it is 16 cold damage.
Okay.
Half for the one that saved, of course. 8.
Sure. And they are resistant to cold, so it's going to be.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one is going to take 8. The other one's going to take.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Does
and
that stick?
then-
It sticks around.
No, it's
Okay.
just an attack. And then he is going to retreat. Oops.
Okay.
So he will. Sorry, he's there.
It is
And they
going
will-
to make an opportunity attack.
They would have attacked regardless. So
So that's a 25 to hit.
yeah, that hits.
And whoops, dropped a d6. That's 14 psychic damage, and another Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so some of that damage gets through. Most of the damage gets through. That poor little shield. Something I don't like about the Abjurers is their shield really doesn't scale with them.
Well,
Wisdom.
you also haven't
25.
been consistently leveling up your wizard class, though, right? You've been dipping into sorcerer.
Yeah, but it's based off. I'm not sure what it's based off of, but yeah, I mean, it could be a bit higher, but it doesn't scale very
Okay.
much.
So was that wisdom save 25? Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
fine. Okay. That is your turn.
That's the turn.
So Buster's turn. I think right now he would just be hurrying to keep up with you until you give him another command, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Which you can do when you like. I think that the one that you were running away from, Nedry, is pursuing you desperately. That's gonna be just a 13 to hit.
13 misses.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, and then the other two, I think, are going to continue to attack Zaline. That is a dirty 20 to hit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a wuss.
Yeah, well, you know. That's going to be 18 psychic damage and wisdom saving throw.
They love it. 19.
19 is enough. And then the next one is also a dirty 20 to hit.
Okay.
It'll be another wisdom save throw
Yep.
as well. Okay, that is going to be 17 psychic damage.
So that's going to be 15.
15 is also still enough.
Okay. You said 17, right?
Yes.
I want to use my reaction
Mm-hmm.
to Hellish Rebuke.
Great. The first one or the second one?
Which one did I hit before? The one that's right in front of me.
Yeah, the one that's right in front of you is like, so this, you know, this guy is the one that's more hurt than the other. They're close though.
Okay, I will hit him.
Okay.
That's a Dex 18.
Okay.
And
Dex 18.
36
that was
fire
cocked.
damage.
Fails. 36
36.
fire damage, eh?
Mhm.
Well, they are not resistant to fire damage.
Woot.
Yay!
It is not destroyed, but it is very, very badly burned.
I hope it's crying internally.
I mean, it looks like it's already extremely unhappy.
That makes me happy. I just smiled.
I'm just so hungry, and you're making it. Now I'm hungry and on fire. So that is the Siphoner Wraith's turn. Lynn.
Okay. This is hard. Like I got nothing that I can use against these guys or defend myself with. At least not without hitting Zaline, and I don't want to do that.
Hit me, baby. One more
More
time.
time.
All right. Well, the only thing I can really do is, I guess, go here, and then I can use lightning bolt. Let me just double check the range on that one. I think it's 100 feet. Yep, 100 feet in a line, 5 feet wide.
Okay.
And each creature in the line must make a saving throw.
All right.
So, let's see.
I think if you're targeting the lower one, Zaline is in the line of fire because it's 5 feet wide. I think if you target the upper one, then Zaline is clear from where you are.
Actually, I'm trying to find the right angle that I can like hit more than one. Let's see.
I think if you were in the square directly above Nedry, you might be able to get the one next to him and the upper one.
So, like, what can you see the arrow that I've drawn
Yeah.
here?
Well,
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
the one that you've got right now. I think you can't. I'm going to say you can't get the lower of those two that are by Zaleen without also hitting Zaleen.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that if you were directly above Nedry, you could get the one that's next to him and one of the ones by Zaleen. But
Okay. We'll do
yeah.
that then,
Okay.
because I would rather do that than.
All right. And they're making dex saves for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, one of them gets a natural one, so that's not going to work out for him. The other gets a 21.
All right. So the 21 does save, but he will
Mhm.
take half damage.
Sure. Although they are resistant to lightning. So not immune, but resistant. So go ahead and that's 30. Nice. So that first one is going to take 15
Resistant to what?
lightning damage
Oh,
from a lightning bolt.
Man, I thought maybe
okay.
that one would because it's like radiant damage, and
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's not radiant damage though.
Yeah, and I know it's not.
not
I
enough
thought
like
like
radiant damage. Yeah.
logically it
Yeah.
tracked that it was going to hurt them. Like
I
it's all
see.
I've got. So
Yeah, fire and radiant are the things so far that it hasn't been resistant to. But you still do damage both of them.
right, and then and I can't move without provoking an opportunity
Actually, hang on
attack.
just a second. Let me just draw this line again real quick. You know what? Uh-huh. I think that you hear, even beyond the two wraiths that you hit, you hear a snarl of frustration from somewhere in the fog as well.
Oh, okay, well, good. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then I'm going to and Nedry is going to get inspiration.
Okay.
Oh, what is your level at this point?
Let's see, you will get a 1d12.
Ooh.
And hold on. Let's see. I know there's a thing that like if you where is it? Yeah, when you add a roll, the bardic inspiration die to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll fails, you can keep the bardic inspiration die. And I think there's another one. Yeah, where it's infectious inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I can use my reaction. Hold it. When a creature within 60 feet of you succeeds on an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw that adds your bardic inspiration die, you can use your reaction to give bardic inspiration die to a different creature within
Oh,
60
wow.
feet.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah, Mark, if you use that and it works, I can use my reaction to pass it to someone else.
Okay. I better make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But not yet.
All right. So, that's the end of your turn. Yeah. Zinhorn.
That's it.
Alrighty. Well, I was going to use my lightning breath, but I don't think I'm going to now, seeing how well lightning has fared.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to use guiding bolt at third level on the one. How hurt is the one by Nedry?
That one is like it doesn't have blood, but it's bloodied, so to speak, figuratively. It's
Okay.
it's clearly been damaged. It's not like on its last legs, but it's hurt.
Okay. So I can do guiding bolt on the one by Zaleen and send Buster after the one on Nedry.
Mhm.
So the one on the north side of Zaleen, I've got a good line of sight on that. I'm going to do guiding bolt, and I got a nat 20.
Nice. So that's on the one that's what this one.
Yep.
Okay, great. So that's definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll double the dice. So
54 points of damage.
did you just where? Oh, you just I see. You just added them together, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. 54 is enough. That one is just your guiding bolt just obliterates it. It just blasts into ephemera and little smoking bits.
And Buster,
Yeah.
chow time.
All right. Well, on his turn, I'm sure he'll be very excited to cooperate with that.
All right.
Okay.
And I am going to give him a place to stand by moving over here.
Great. Okay. Zaleen, your turn. Your situation has improved.
By
Oh,
50%.
so that guy in front of me is still alive.
That one
correct?
is, yeah. But the other one
Okay.
has been destroyed.
Okay, so I am going to um the one that got destroyed, is the body still there?
It was just like blasted into nothing.
Into nothing.
Yeah. These are kind of half ephemeral anyway.
Okay. So I'm going to I don't even know what I want to do because they're so immune to everything.
Hmm.
Oh, I wish I had more fire all of a sudden. That
All
would
of
be
the
great.
sudden.
Yeah. I think I'm going to reach out again and do Vampire Touch at
Okay.
level 3.
All right.
That is going to be a 23.
Okay. Did you still
And
is that not one that stays up?
I don't. Oh, wait, is it?
It is.
Oh,
If you maintain
even if I
concentration.
cast like.
You would have had to
I
maintain
cast.
concentration though, so you've taken damage a few times.
Yeah, and I mean, I did Hellish Rebuke too. Wouldn't that have broken my
Um,
concentration?
No,
Yes.
that's not a concentration spell.
Oh,
That's true.
okay.
Yep. So you could have maintained concentration on it. You'll need to make a couple of concentration checks for the damage
Okay.
you took, which I think was like an 18 and a 17.
17, and yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I can't remember how to make concentration.
Just Constitution saving throw.
I was like, wait, is it that? Is it
Yeah.
this? That is a 12.
I think a 12 is a success
A
for the first
13.
one. Yeah. So I see a 13. So that would
Yeah,
be
it was
one
a
success.
13.
That's one
A
success.
13 and a 16.
Okay, yeah. So you still have concentration, so you don't need to use a new spell slot for vampiric
Sweet.
touch. So
Okay, and that
23
was
does
also at a
hit,
higher
yeah.
level.
Yeah.
So that will be 2, 4, 7, 8. So
Okay.
4.
Okay, so yeah, once again, it's taking 4.
Mhm. And I get 2.
Well, you get to
Or you
you
want me to
start
make
to get
this-
2, but you need to make the your own another Constitution save.
We just discovered that Zaleen is a siphoner.
Well,
I am 15.
15 is successful, so
Okay.
you are able to get your 2
My
hit
2
points. But I think that everything was kind of happening so fast for you to notice it the first time, but like when you do it this next time, you're only getting just a little bit, and so in some ways, like you don't feel like this is making a huge difference, but you get the sense that there is you. It's hard to put your finger on it because this is not a magic that you're familiar with. You know your own spell, of course, but especially this second time that you've done this, you are aware of an intangible threshold that you could cross in your mind. And if you did, you could get so much more.
That's scary.
Mm.
I'm like, automatically, I'm like, oh my God, I'm siphoning from these people. What if I turn into a siphoner because I'm stealing their soul?
Well, so I think that you right now know your own spell, and that your spell is it's a divine magic spell. It is not what the siphoners do, but there is enough similarity that it has opened your sort of arcane awareness to what it would take to become a siphoner. And I think right now, I'm assuming that Zaleen doesn't want to become a siphoner. But I think that you get just a taste of what a desperate person might feel in a moment where the choice is this or death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
I think, though, philosophically, that she would be like, well,
Well,
death would be the relief.
I think that is a decision that maybe Zaleen
Yeah.
would make, that maybe not everybody would make the same call.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
Interesting.
you sense now, a line that you could cross if you chose to. All right. It is now the air elemental's turn, and it goes whoosh, 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 whoosh over here to begin berating this wraith. It is going to cause the wraith to make a strength saving throw, which it's bad at. And it fails, and it's going to take 4d10 plus something thunder damage. I don't have any d10s. Here, I'm just going to roll it in d20. Roll 20 here. I have all these dice in my tray, and I realize there are no d10s in it. 4d10 plus 2. 29, but it is thunder damage, so it's going to take 14, which is enough to kill it. And you watch as what little substance this thing had is sort of flung this way to sort of crash against the wall, and is just dissipates from the impact. And it has enough movement speed that it is able to and get up to here. It doesn't have another attack, but it does have its. It can move. You know what? I think it will just move here because it doesn't have to envelop the thing. But that way, Buster has his own room. And Melody is going to cast Produce Flame at it. Where is her spell attack? Plus 8. Yeah, 24 for 12th level. So that's going to be 3d8 fire damage. Which is pretty good. Get 16 fire damage to it. Yeah, so she has come over here next to Zinhorn and thrown the fire. And she does it, and it's not entirely destroyed. It's still kind of... it's very hurt at this point. Um, One gets the sense that it's not going to last long under Buster's, forthcoming assault. But as it turns to face Melody after her fire impacts it, Zinhorn standing right next to her, you sense her Melody kind of stop short and look at it with wide eyes. But that's all you would have time to notice right now.
She does still have the protection from evil and good, and if that matters.
No, not in what is happening here.
Okay.
So Nedry, that makes it your turn. The one remaining one that you can see here is right there. It's very injured.
Yep.
Also, Buster seems to be getting ready to get
It's
it.
kind of over his shoulder. Nedry will turn to Buster. Go get him, boy, and use the disengage action
Mm-hmm.
to move the hell away from everything.
Gotcha.
And I think that'll be all for now.
Okay.
Um, Yeah.
All right. Buster. You know what? I'm not even gonna. It has 8 hit points. And it's resistant to non-magical piercing, bludgeoning, slashing, essentially. But I think that it's only got an AC of 12. But Buster's gonna just tear it apart.
Yeah, Buster's gonna shred it and make barbecue out of it.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's nothing left for barbecue, unfortunately. Very disappointing to Buster.
Buster will get a treat later.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go find some squirrels.
Yeah. So with its destruction, things seem quiet again for a moment, long enough that Zinhorn, you hear Melody whisper to herself, "Cassandra, I thought you were in the Beastlands."
Oh. Who's Cassandra?
And you look and you see that she's got like tears in her eyes and kind of a shaken expression, and
I'm gonna hug her.
she accepts the hug, but she kind of just gestures to where Buster is sort of spitting like ectoplasm out of his mouth, and she just says, "I think that was Cassandra."
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
Do you need a moment? Of
I-
course you need a moment.
I just like I didn't. I I don't want to overstate things here. I mean, she was a friend. We weren't necessarily like super close, but I knew her. But like, she wasn't supposed to be here though. I mean, she was on assignment in the Beastlands. That's like, how did she get here? How did that happen to her?
We will find out.
The infestation is likely widespread and appearing in a lot of places. And as you said, moving through these trees is faster sometimes, which unfortunately the infestation is also finding.
So, there is more to this encounter. But as we are getting close to 10, and I think this is a reasonably good sort of cliffhanger point, I'm going to suggest that we could end here unless all of you would rather continue on to phase 2 of this encounter.
Something tells me that's not a 15-minute endeavor.
Probably it would take longer.
Yeah,
than
I'm not a good one to ask. I'm behind y'all, so
Yep.
So I guess what I'm just saying is that I think probably it makes the most sense to stop here, unless everyone was just saying, no, let's keep going. In which case, I think we will find out what else remains in this mysterious fog. How did Cassandra turn into Siphoner? What will happen next to the Pocket Protectors? We will find out when we return for more adventure next time on So Many Levels.
So many
So many
levels.
levels
So many
of siphoners.
Cassandras.
I said it in a slightly different order, and it kind of breaks the whole So Many Levels bit, but I think it'll be okay on So Many Levels.